What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by, spending a few minutes of your time here with me tonight. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys, a lot of messages and emails asking me, where have I learned this stuff that I'm talking to y'all about, okay? Now, I'm just going to tell you, the only place that I learn about trading from is on YouTube, okay? And the channel that I watch, the only channel I watch is called Stacy Burke Trading, okay? There's a gentleman that runs a channel. His name is Stacy Burke. This guy is the truth, bro. He's a legend, okay? He's like the one. I knew that the moment I started watching Stacy Burke's channel, I have found the one for me. And I devoted the rest of my time, all of my effort, I directed it all into understanding the work of the Burke. You understand what I'm saying? I just knew that this was the person that I could vibe with. This is the person who truly resonated with me as far as trading is concerned. Okay, someone who, when they speak, I understand what they're saying clearly, all right? And it isn't that it was always like that, okay? It took me 6 to 8 months probably before things really started clicking into place for me, but I was having small successes before that, all right? But with that being said, okay, we all learn from somewhere. Even Stacy learned from somewhere and has his influences, okay? There are people that influence Stacy's thoughts and his system, okay? Not everything that's on Stacy's channel is Stacy's work, all right? Stacy does, I believe, have some truly proprietary information, stuff that is his originally, right? But a lot of the stuff that he knows and he talks about comes from somewhere else, and he tells you, I learned from Bill McLaren, Schaubacher, Edwards and McGee, Paul Tudor Jones, right? All of these people, Jim Dalton, he name drops all these people, so everybody learns from somewhere, okay? Now, I haven't just taken Stacy's system and just adopted it, and that's the only thing or the only way that I trade, even though I would probably be better off if I just did that, right? But I'm just not that type of person. I enjoy thinking for myself. So I feel like, honestly, when I watch Stacy, I'm watching an older version of myself. One day I would have gotten there with or without Stacy, right? So I'm still working everything that Stacy says. I love it, and I'm working on incorporating it into my own thought process, this sort of thing. So a lot of my stuff might sound familiar to Stacy's if you're familiar with Stacy's channel. But just in case you're not familiar with Stacy's channel, I would highly recommend that you go check out his work. And he has his work, done up into playlists. And 2 playlists in particular I would recommend to you, okay? The first one is called Mastering Peak Formations, and I would start there if you're brand new, okay? Because it's a shorter playlist than the other one I'm going to tell you. The other one is called Everything You Need to Know is in this playlist. Okay, and literally everything you need to know is in that playlist. There is nothing that Stacy is hiding from you behind a paywall. All of his stuff is free and on his YouTube channel. He does have a playbook you can purchase, but you do not need to purchase it because everything is in that playlist, okay? When Stacy makes videos, he's showing you things straight out of his playlist, all right? So now that we've got that out of the way, I wanted to go over with you some of the best trade setups from the last Wednesday. The reason why we're looking at Wednesday is because Stacy uses a particular way of keeping track of the days of the week, okay? He uses a weekly day count. And this can be confusing for traders because at the same time, Stacy is hunting for 3-day setups. And so there's a day count going on for 3-day setups. At the same time, there's a day count going on just the regular weekly template, all right? And that's 2 different day counts going on at the same time, and that can be confusing because the weekly template never changes. But the 3-day setup, that could be a combination of any 3 days of the week, right? So it could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It could be Friday, Monday, Tuesday, right? It could change. But The weekly template never changes, okay? Monday is always day 1. Tuesday is always day 2. Wednesday is always day 3. But Wednesday is also the midpoint range of the week. So it resets as a new day 1. So Wednesday is a day 3, but resets as day 1. So Thursday is day 2. Friday is day 3. Okay, so if that's confusing, listen, it never changes. Monday is always day 1. Friday is always day 3. And Wednesday is always day 3, but it resets as a day 1 at the same time, okay? So that can be confusing. Because of that, Stacy says, if that's too confusing, just trade day 3s. Just trade Wednesday and trade Friday, all right? So we are looking at the best trade opportunities on Wednesday. And we're looking at this in hindsight so that we can better understand what it is we're looking for on the day. Right now, I actually traded the US 30 on Wednesday, and we'll go over that trade last. But we're going to be looking at examples of pumps and dumps and dumps and pumps. You'll hear that a lot if you go watch Stacy Burke's channel, right? And that can be important. It's important for targeting trades, knowing what you're expecting, things like this. So let's get right into it. We're going to look at the franc first, the dollar franc pair. Now I want you to notice here first on a higher time frame that Tuesday traded as an inside day, all right? And we have this large coil going on in the market. It takes place over the course of a couple of days. And going into Wednesday, we are coiling inside of Tuesday's range, all right? Tuesday's an inside day. An inside day is a day that breaks neither the high of the previous day or the low of the previous day, all right? And for Stacy, that's a trigger day. So we would be paying attention the next day, Wednesday, day 3. Now let's zoom in so we can look right at 9:30. I'm interested in trades happening at, or around 9:30, okay? The New York Stock Exchange opening hour. This is so I know exactly when I'm looking for setups. You know, it gives me consistency and all of this. So look, this is the low of the day put in place 6 o'clock. From here we break out, have this little consolidation, trade back into that breakout, and then break out again. So we have this little false breakout. And then we go into another little consolidation, a trading range. We trade back into that breakout again, right? Price often pulls back into that breakout before it continues. Okay, we continue. This is the high of the day. Okay, and we're getting close to 9:30 here. Let's zoom in. Okay, so at 9 o'clock, the high of the day is put in place. Here at 9:30, we're trading back up into the high. So right at 9:30, there's this shorting opportunity, right? But sometimes I like to wait. And I'm timing my trades with the hours, right? So that's why right at 9:30 or right at 10 o'clock, I'm looking at the behavior of price. And you can see here that right at 10 o'clock, we get this W formation, which on a higher time frame is an engulfment. Okay. The entry is at the break of the last bearish candle. Okay. And I just put a target in here for the previous day's high. But we'll get into this with better examples. Here are the targets, right? But quick trade over with very quickly. Now let's move on to the euro. The euro had a very nice setup on Wednesday. Hello, where are we? So you can see the entire day's price action here. And this is the low of the day area here. This is a classic pump and dump. You can see the pump. Stacy talks about the 3 push pattern into the high of the day. So we have these 3 pushes into the high of the day level here. And now notice that we have this shape going on right here. We have where the pump originated, right? This is the anchor point, which will act as a target on the way down, right? So that's why these pumps, pump and dumps, dump and pumps, are important, right? So you can see that gives us a good target. Now let's look right in here at 9:30, right? So at 9:30, we are right here. We are trading down from the high of the day. We have traded into the high of the day level and then started to trade down. Here you can see this small M on a higher time frame. This is an engulfment. The entry's at the break of the last bullish candle. Again, with the target being the anchor. Now we'll look at gold. Gold had literally a picture perfect setup. Again, a nice pump and dump. So here's the day's price action. We have a low of the day down here, a higher low here, again a higher low here. This is made 7 o'clock. So we are interested in 9:30. We can see that at 9:30, here's the high of the day so far. We are trading up into the high of the day. We're actually at the high of the day when 9:30 opens. And you can see again, we have this M formation here at the high of the day, an engulfment on a higher time frame. And here's that origin point of the pump, which will act as our target on the way down. For some reason, I just really like the triangles, right? And then here we have the opportunity for maybe, you could add into your position or just take a later, more conservative entry. This occurs right at 10:30, right? And you can see we ping right off of this whole number level, the 2680 mark. And again, you can see this extended M formation. And notice that even this M formation, right, in itself is a pump and dump. You can see this would be the anchor point. We have that as a target going down. Again, we have this pump for the dump, this being the anchor point, right? So every trade that you can take is going to be one of those two things, a pump and dump or a dump and pump. I highlighted this just to show you, like if you were holding it past that anchor point, when you see this 3 push pattern into the low of the day level, that could be indicative of a reversal. So I would be out of the market if I wasn't already. Then here on the US 30, and I'm going to show you why I like the US 30 so much, bro. Okay? It's like cheat codes or some shit. It's like the game on easy mode sometimes. So notice this very tightly wound price action, right? Here, London gives a low of the day. And then when 9:30, okay, because listen, the DJ30 is made up of companies, right? Like Microsoft, Walmart, Walgreens, Nike, these kinds of things, US-based companies. London and Tokyo aren't really trading them too heavy, but when 9:30 opens, you see the spikes in volume and all of this, right? So we can see right at 9:30, we are trading back into the low of the day level here, right? But when price opens up, it's real volatile, whipsaw action going on. So I let the market settle a little. And even here, you can still see this W going on, this engulfment. entry at the break of that last bearish candle, right? And I targeted a level from the previous day over here as my anchor point on this trade. I could have held this till the close of the day, right? But I've learned not to be greedy. You never know what's going to happen. I'd rather get out of the market with money than, give all the money back and leave with a sad face. You know what I'm saying? So if we look at the DJ30, this is why I like it. Notice this 3-session consolidation for an explosive move, right? And then the previous day, this 3-session consolidation for an explosive move. 3-session consolidation, explosive move. 3-session consolidation, explosive move. You get the point? It's relatively low volume sometimes until the New York session, and that's when we can see some potential trades. But, some days, most days, it's very volatile and anything can happen. So you have to be sort of careful trading it. That's why I get in and I get out when I'm trading this thing. You feel me? Every once in a while, yeah, you'll be holding it till close, but you got to be careful doing it sometimes, right? So anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. I'm trying to keep them quick. You know what I mean? I don't want to take up too much of your time. I tried to record this before and it ended up being like 35 minutes long. So I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. But this is the sort of thing that you're looking for on the day, something just like this. You want to be able to say to yourself, okay, we're trading back into the low. That's something that Stacy's always saying. We're trading back into the low, or we're trading back into the high, right? If you look at this, like, so far, this would be the high of the day before 9:30, right? So if 9:30 came and like we were down here, and then 9:30 came and we were poking back up into this level, right? Then we might say, okay, we are trading back into the high. Because we're making a new high of the day, we're trading back into the high. But that's not what's going on, right? When 9:30 comes around, what are we doing? We're trading back into the low of the day, right? And sometimes that can get a little more like nuanced and complicated to try and figure out, right? But like on this day, when 9:30 comes, we're not at the low of the day, right? If this is 9:30, right around in here, we're not at the low of the day per se, but we are trading into a previous low. So if we were trading into a high, instead of it coming down here and trading into this, we maybe would have revisited that and then came up here and then been trading into the high of the day level with some sort of little consolidation like this before taking off, right? We would be trading into the high, but that's not what's going on. We're trading into the low at 9:30, right? And it's important to be able to make that distinction. Are we trading into the low or into the high at 9:30? And sometimes, in certain cases, like I believe here on the euro, you have to wait. You have to give it some time. It might not be right at 9:30 when the trade takes place. Like here's 9:30. Obviously, you could have just shorted at 9:30 and been okay, right? The move kind of started. But if you were patient and you waited, you did have an opportunity to get in shortly after 9:30, 15 minutes after 9:30, and you're trying to line your trades up like that, like in quarter-hour increments. So either at 9:30, if it's not at 9:30, then look for it at 9:45. If it's not at 9:45, look for it at 10 o'clock. If it's not at 10 o'clock, look for it at 10:15. You're looking for it to happen. It's going to line up with those times, and very often you'll see like these double wicks right here, price hit one of these whole number levels before the trade takes off, right? So anyway, I hope that helps you out. You'll see this going forward, right? I'm still a beginner. I'm still learning. There's nothing wrong with getting it wrong sometimes, but what you want to do is get into the demo and start executing these sorts of trades. Start executing these things every day. You'll get better, 1% better every day. That's what Stacy is always saying, okay? 1% better every day. That's all that really matters. Now, I also wanted to tell you before I forget that I have made us on the channel a new $50 account to trade together. We're either going to grow it or blow it. You know what I'm saying? But no, we're going to grow it. But I'm going to go about showing you how I would trade, a small account like $50 with proper risk management, and all of that stuff. So anyway, man, until next time, I hope you continue to free your mind, and may the trading gods have mercy on your soul.